Okay, so this is where I get most of the stuff for my tomato sauce, for canning tomato sauce. So I've got like a hodgepodge of cherry tomatoes. I've got some beefsteaks. I've got a whole different array of heirloom tomatoes. And then I've got a lot of peppers in here as well. And these peppers do really well. Obviously it's hot as the dickens in here all summer. So they do really, really good. But I plant the cherry tomatoes just for snacking on, and the girls love them. Tana comes in here and just takes all the little ripe cherries off. But then as far as like canning goes, I do these heirloom San Marzanos. So the San Marzanos are awesome. They're just a meat tomato. They're kind of like a Roma, but you get a lot of them, and they do really, really good in this hothouse. And geez, I mean, I'll get so many cans of tomato sauce just off of these 2 boxes of San Marzanos. What do I have? About 10 plants here, and that's gonna give me so many tomatoes for sauce. And you can see, some of them are starting to ripen up a bit already, and we've picked a few already, but yeah, it's a lot of them.
There's a beautiful one right there, that red one.
How many tomatoes to make a can of sauce?
Oh gosh, I wish I knew the answer to that.
A lot.
I don't know, but when I come in and pick a bowl, I've got these big stainless bowls, and you know, I'll make one giant pot of sauce, and you know, I'll get probably 7 quarts, and that's one good cook for a day. And that's adding all the peppers and the onions and a lot of the herbs and everything into it, and I'll get about 7 quarts. And that's what my pressure cooker does anyway, is 7 quarts, so it's the perfect amount. But yeah, a lot of these are, you know, we got some beef steaks in here, and
These
a lot of big ones.
Oh, this one's kind of
Yeah, that one's
Wait,
a
take it off?
funky one. Yeah, let's rip that off. But these aren't quite ready yet. They're getting close.
Yeah.
But these, I mean, I've got a couple Romas in here, but again, all San Marzanos. So these are gonna have just an absolute ton of tomatoes for me. And that'll make me a lot of jars. With these 10 plants, I mean, I expect to get about 50 quarts of tomato sauce with this right here, so it's a lot.
You plant some at separate times for a
So
reason?
yeah, those ones went in first. I staggered them a little bit. These ones were staggered late. But then every year I also have, like within my soil, I have just seeds from the prior year, and San Marzanos are an heirloom. So I can reseed the seeds that I used from the prior year. So I've got San Marzanos out in my dirt, and I just let them grow and get the tomatoes off of those as well. So it works out.
Yeah.
Got some big bell peppers behind you.
Yeah, let this go off.
That little one go off. We got some rogue raspberries in here.
Yeah, lots of rogue raspberries.
Yep.
So awesome. That's a ton of tomatoes.
I know, it's crazy, huh? It's like bushels of tomatoes.
Right.
And these up here, I mean, these are gonna just
Really?
all have loads. I'll have to do a lot more staking. But yeah.
Makes sense why they have these.
Yeah, for sure. I end up sticking bamboo rods. I've got all those rods down there. I'll end up using those to stake all the vines that come off of the plant, so you can get more fruit. And Epsom salts. And fish
What do
fertilizer.
you use those for?
So the
Fertilizer?
yeah, so when I initially plant all my peppers and tomatoes, I throw a handful of Epsom salts in there, and I use a lot of calcium. That kind of prevents blossom rot. So all my eggshells from the chickens, I'll end up drying those out in my hothouse, crushing them up, putting them in a blender, powdering them, and then putting those in as I plant, you know, my starts with my tomatoes and my peppers.
You gonna have some?
And you start that, and you know, when the plants get to size, you don't get that blossom rot, and you get a lot of nutrients out of that. So those are really the only 2 ingredients I add. I do a little bit of fish fertilizer every couple of weeks or so, just homemade stuff, and that's about it for fertilizers for the tomatoes.